So for Canadian Tire Financial Services, we basically use this for all of our online. We use AEM for all of our online offerings. So our banking portal, our credit card applications, our like landing pages for social and paid search, a generic like non-authenticated, non-banking portal website with all our card comparison options and stuff like that. So basically, any content that's like online for us is on AEM.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, content management. When you're a Canadian company, you have to have both a French site and an English site. So content management for having essentially two websites that are in two totally different languages. Super straightforward, and making two different pages for every single page that you have on your website is basically a breeze. We use the internationalization translator, and so every single key in there matches to two different languages, and so copying and pasting basically a second page is super simple. It's super straightforward, and even making changes to content can be instantly reflected in either a dev environment or a QA environment or a production environment almost instantly, and so that's pretty helpful as well, especially if there's something in production that needs to be changed overnight or something. You can schedule those changes so you're not waiting till 2 a.m. to flip a switch on something. Um, our current challenge right now is moving to the React um, tech stack, I guess you would call that. So all of our developers have been working on that, and there's been a decent amount of friction with that, but that's, I think, just any sort of new tech stack happening that's going to happen. So that one's it was to be expected. Another con is just simply like having like that non-agile development sort of requirement to be like, hey, like we want to see this happen. Okay, now we've got to wait 6 weeks for that to get deployed to production or whatever. But again, that's the sort of thing that just is a normal part of doing business with development.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
Um, probably 10. I think it does everything that we need it to do. Pretty frictionless by and large. Yep. Yeah, like so. Yeah, I think I've already kind of covered this, but I think that a lot of other content management systems that I've used in the past do struggle with having to basically like do a French and English page at the same time. There are like there are like obviously development options you can have for a lot of those other ones, but they're I find pretty tough to use, and they do rely on you basically building a second site. Whereas with the internationalization translator, you can basically just be like, okay, well, this is what that's called in both English and French, and it's going to be the same. And it also makes it straightforward for making changes, and then you can track those changes as well. I think what else does it do really well? What else do I really like? Being able to like customize all of your components. Like people do have those development options. Yes, they do take a long time, but you're not just stuck with what's out of the box. Something like I don't want to name names, but there are other content management systems out there that like really don't give you options to like plug in whatever you want. You're just kind of stuck with whatever tools they give you and making those work, which is always tough. I mean, in terms of like return on investment, like getting new credit card customers in is like kind of huge for a bank that is a credit card company. Like if we weren't able to like intake applications, 24/7, if we were relying on people going in and like hand writing an application, like it just wouldn't be possible for us to like continue onboarding new customers. Like having an online credit card application is basically a given nowadays. Like no one's applying in a brick and mortar store for a credit card these days, right? So like being able to do stuff like that, being able to provide people with same day credit card information so that when they're done applying and they are instantly approved, they can immediately go and use that in our Canadian Tire stores. And like giving them that purchasing power immediately is huge. Being able to add that credit card to their mobile wallet as soon as they're instantly approved, and then, again, that gives them more purchasing power. So like just the idea that like someone can go from from a paid search ad, go to our landing page, see exactly what kind of card products we offer, apply, get approved, and then 10 minutes later be shopping is huge. So at Canadian Tire Financial, we've been in the time I've been there, we've always used AEM, but in past places I've used WordPress, I use Squarespace. And I don't remember what it's called. Stuff like Wix, and stuff like that, like things that are more, I guess like general user friendly, where you're like building your own blog or you're creating a small business website where it's basically just like text. You're not intaking information or something like that. Again, I think the customization options in AEM are huge. Like my experiences with WordPress were pretty straightforward. Again, you was like, I don't know, like college newspaper website or something like that, where you're just like putting content up for people to look at. You're not necessarily taking in any other information. Maybe you might allow people to log in or something, and like save articles or something pretty straightforward. But then even then, I remember like that stuff taking me forever to do, to figure out, and like scrolling through in tons and tons and tons of documentation is just not fun. No one enjoys doing that. And then even then, you might not have the answer available to you, and that's so frustrating.
Yeah.
I think with AEM, like it's super like user friendly. Like figuring out the like content editor is pretty straightforward. You're not clicking around and being like, what the heck am I looking at? Or you're not like looking at a bazillion menus to be like, maybe the thing I want is in here. I can't stand that. Like I want to be able to look at a page, see what I'm going to be getting in production, and then publish it. I don't want to look around in menus to figure out how to add something to a page.
Saves you time.
Yeah, it absolutely saves me time. And like, again, documentation for stuff like this is not great to begin with, and then trying to figure out what your answer is the worst. It's not fun. 9. I think it's really usable. I think it's really easy to get into. I'm trying to. I mean, I've been onboarded for it for a little while now, but I remember being onboarded pretty quickly. 6 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, the digital asset management in AEM is fantastic. I do like that. Again, and yeah, multi-site management. We've got, three different websites and two websites for each of those in English and French, and so it would get nuts otherwise. But it's super easy to find what I'm looking for in AEM. Not sure. I don't know what was there. Yes. I was not involved. I wasn't involved initially, but we've implemented newer versions of it since, and it's been pretty. Yeah.
So yeah.